There's been a lot of talk about the potential fight between you and Ilia Topuria. How do you look at that situation?
Yeah, I like this idea. If UFC want, I know a lot of MMA fans want this fight. I'm ready.
What about fight in White House in Washington? Do you thinking about that?
Maybe I'm gonna fight next, and we have the Ramadan month where I'm not gonna training 1 month, and after that I will slowly beginning my training camp, and I will be ready White House or as other dates. I will be ready.
Arman Tsarukyan, is he the hottest guy right now? I don't see anybody controlling the media as well as Tsarukyan. Tsarukyan's getting more headlines and doing more clicks on social media than Ilia Topuria, just by example. I mean, I feel like this guy's red hot.
You're witnessing the digital universe explode around Arman Tsarukyan, headlines multiplying, public frenzy roaring louder than even Ilia Topuria at his loudest peak. The spotlight feels blinding, the praise intoxicating, the narrative already crowning a future king. But here's the savage, unfiltered truth slicing through the noise. Carve this into your memory: the media storm is nothing but a calculated illusion. Smoke, mirrors, distraction. 5 punishing rounds cannot be conquered by trending clips or viral applause. A reigning champion like Topuria cannot afford to drift into their hype. He must lock his focus onto the real danger creeping closer with every heartbeat. And right now, that danger has a name spoken with tension: Islam Makhachev stepping forward, issuing the challenge without blinking. While other contenders scramble for relevance, chasing cameras and clout, the true tactician remains silent and composed. The authentic champion, armed with suffocating fight IQ and ruthless patience, does not react to chaos. He studies it, dissects it, waits for the perfect fracture. Because when the cage door seals and the roar fades, hype evaporates into nothing. Only preparation survives. And the man prepared to dismantle whoever dares cross his path isn't the loudest voice in the arena. He's the quiet force gathering pressure, ready to crush any challenger reckless enough to stand in his way.
But Tsarukyan has now made headlines. Tsarukyan works with Coach Cal. That's a piece of the story, because Tsarukyan came out yesterday and said, I'm the #1 contender. I am to fight for a belt. But if there's a logjam at 155, fine, I'll just go to 45 and fight for the belt. And I don't know how much he meant it, but these things are interesting. Once they're said, they become real. Like if somebody took him up on that offer.
This hunger aches to carve deep, to split new scars just for daring to picture gold around your waist. But that is a challenger's whisper. It's Islam Makhachev staring through Ilia Topuria, daring him unleash the storm. I will meet you there. Greatness is forged in fire. Remember it. Etch it into memory.
Is serious is because he then justified it, and he was talking about Coach Cal. All he said though is, my coach, we did the math, we can do it. And Coach Cal is a calculus genius, and he breaks everything down, and calories in, calories out, and monitors your workouts. And I'm just sharing for you that, what do you think of that? I mean, this kind of went wild online. My own phone was getting text messages. Like, James, I was on an airplane and James Madison has let me, I was like, did you see this about Tsarukyan? And, you know, I stopped what I was doing and I go, there's something interesting about it. Then it got Lopez to respond.
All the online chatter about math tutors and calories counted, calories burned, you're missing the entire point. This isn't some quirky flex or clever gimmick designed for headlines. It's the cold, ruthless science fueling a champion's unshakable certainty. It's the blueprint behind the Dagestani machine, every variable measured, every weakness hunted down and erased before it can breathe. When Islam Makhachev says he's ready for Ilia Topuria, not anywhere, but on a stage as massive as a UFC White House spectacle, that isn't arrogance spilling over. That's precision talking. That's preparation sharpened to a razor's edge. His confidence doesn't come from noise, it comes from numbers, repetition, sacrifice, and an obsessive dismantling of doubt. He doesn't see opponents as mysteries. He sees equations already balanced, riddles already cracked. While most fighters cling to hope and pray the night bends their way, champions like Islam operate on certainty. You hear a man referencing a math tutor. I see the highest level of fight intelligence colliding with an ironclad warrior's will, discipline fused with brutality. That's the difference. The thin, terrifying line separating a challenger who might steal a win on the perfect night and a reigning force who expects to dominate every single time the cage door shuts. One lives on possibility. The other lives on inevitability. Burn that into your memory and never confuse preparation with pride again.
Can you get a headline? Is that something that people believe and that people are interested in? Check and check. He had those boxes. A next step, but it's a much higher step, is to get the guy with the belt or the guy with the opportunity to respond. He already got Lopez. I imagine we're going to hear from Volkanovski anytime now. What do you guys think about it? But there's multiple things to think. Like,
Islam Makhachev isn't just saying a name into a microphone. He's planting a flag, firing the opening shot in a calculated mental war long before the first punch ever leaves the shoulder. You skim the headline and see noise. I see a strategist tightening the board, moving pieces before anyone realizes the match has begun. This isn't random. It's deliberate pressure, applied early, designed to fracture certainty. He stands there calm, almost detached, yet every word lands like a quiet warning. The question was never whether the champion responds. The real question is how long they can resist before the response becomes unavoidable. Because pressure, when layered with precision, forces action. And once action is forced, mistakes follow. The lamb doesn't notice the shift in the air at first. It senses something, but dismisses it. Then the circle closes. That's what you're watching unfold. A narrowing space, a shrinking margin for error. This isn't about bravado or empty callouts. It's about inevitability engineered step by step. Burn this into your instincts when you study battles. Victory rarely begins with impact. It begins with intention. And the one who dictates intention often dictates the ending. Remember that.
In many ways, does it solve a problem? Sure it does. We acknowledge in this sport, Arman is the number one contender. We acknowledge in this sport that Arman should be fighting for a world title. So how are we going to do? I'll just move down to 145. Well, but we also acknowledge that Lerone Murphy should be fighting for a title. We acknowledge that Iloev, American top team, 19-0 with a win over a former world champion in Aljamain Sterling, should be fighting for a title.
Silence all that chatter about deserving challengers, about rankings and who's politely next in line. That's the language of ordinary minds trapped in a savage proving ground. In this arena, there is no cue when a true champion begins to hunt. The brutal truth. Order collapses the moment dominance enters the room. You want to know why Islam Makhachev calls out Ilia Topuria instead of waiting his turn? Because champions don't wait. They don't ask permission. They don't respect imaginary limits drawn by hopeful contenders clinging to structure. They recognize approaching danger before others even sense the shift. And when they feel it, they move first. They chase their highest risk, the most punishing test, because that's where legacy is carved into something permanent. Safety never built greatness. Risk did. Pressure did. Collision did. This is the code of the ultimate hunter: close distance, eliminate doubt, strike before hesitation can breathe. It isn't about settling disputes or fixing temporary problems. It's about seizing total command of the narrative, the division, the future. Control the challenge and you control the outcome. That's the separation between men who hope history remembers them and men who force history to adjust around their presence. Burn that into your memory and understand this clearly. In a world built on combat, patience is for contenders. Predators dictate the order.
If he cuts down, he therefore takes precedent. Do you believe that? Because when Ilia Topuria, who wasn't just the number one guy, he was the champion of the world, moved to 55, there was a little bit of pushback by you, the community. There's a little bit of pushback that just said, hey, listen, you haven't proved yourself here yet. Khabib himself said, we're not going to fight him. You're speaking for Islam. This is before Islam had left the way. He said, we're not going to fight this guy. Come and do something at 55. Do anything, but do it at 55, then call me.
A 145-pound king cannot just claim the 155-pound throne. That's the merciless truth etched into your mind. Such shots are earned through blood, through proof, through wars survived. That reveals Islam Makhachev's calculated combat mind. But here's what you're missing. When the reigning 155-pound sovereign commands, send Ilia Topuria to me, that's not arrogance, it's authority. His saying, if you believe, step forward. That line separates hopeful contenders from proven rulers, ambition from dominion, dreamers from men who defend crowns without flinching. Always. Remember,
Everybody loved it. Ariel loved it. I loved it. James Madison loved it. I mean, I'm just sharing. But now that we've had a day and we've thought about it, do you still love it? And I think Arman is going to be just fine. I mean, I think that the final conclusion, he's going to be just fine. Stay at 155. The opportunity's coming. I think that that's where we're at. But he's now created another dialogue. So the way this works is we've got to exhaust all options. And
listen to the idle chatter, the debates over who's soft, who's easy. The brutal truth. Victors don't sit back and wait for the arena to acknowledge them, they make the arena roar with their presence. Islam Makhachev isn't just preparing to face Ilia Topuria, he's drawing a sharp line, separating mere contenders from true conquerors. Burn this into your mind, a real champion doesn't wait for openings. He engineers crises. He forces the fight on his terms. Islam isn't merely issuing a challenge, he's dismantling the divisional structure, reshaping a world where only the supreme survive. Every movement, every word, every step is calculated to test resolve, to expose weakness, to confirm supremacy. This is the kind of combat intelligence most overlook, the cold precision that turns opportunity into inevitability. While others scramble for recognition, hoping luck will bend in their favor, the true master sets the conditions, commands the rhythm, and leaves no margin for error. This is dominance incarnate. This is the mental warfare many fail to comprehend. Keep it etched, when a champion moves, the fight itself obeys. And those who lack that vision are simply witnesses to inevitability, spectators to a game already decided.
And there is a but. I've never liked the idea of, I want to fight for a championship. I've never liked that approach more than a specific guy. Than a specific, put your finger in the chest of Ilia Topuria. Oh, by the way, he happens to be champion. It happens to also be a championship opportunity. Boy, I hadn't even really thought of that. I just want to fight him. I find that personal grudge approach to be stronger, but Arman's in a unique spot.
Get this, the belt is nothing more than a symbol. True victors, the predators of this sport, don't chase hardware. They hunt men. When Islam Makhachev singles out Ilia Topuria, it isn't about gold, it's a gauntlet hurled straight into the chest of another unbeaten beast, a raw, unrestrained drive to crush that specific adversary. This isn't about collecting titles. It's about proving dominance by eliminating the toughest, standing tall above all. This isn't merely a fight for a strap in the highest seat, it's the collision of fates, a battle for absolute supremacy over the division. Etch this into your mind. This embodies the ultimate lesson from the Makhachev method. It transcends strategy, skill, or combat assessment, it's the blueprint of a top-tier hunter in any domain. You cannot wait for opportunity. You cannot pause for permission. You manufacture the crisis. You force the motion. You become the storm every contender cannot ignore, pursuing the gravest danger because that is where true legend is forged. Ask yourself now, will you remain prey, or will you step forward and claim your full power? The choice exists in this instant. The decision demands boldness, demands action, demands noise.